Hello, everyone. Thank you for listening to the Boerne Brew here on Boerne Radio, 103.9 FM and 1500 AM. I'm the host of today's show. My name is Kerry Barboza, and I'm the sports editor of the Boerne Star newspaper. And I am sitting in the Boerne Radio studios in the Richter building with our producer, Roland J. Ruiz. And joining us for today's show is Jane Blomquist, and she is with the Hill Country Comets. Jane, thank you for coming out on the show.
Thank you, Kerry. Thanks for having me.
Well, the Hill Country Comets, they're having a couple big track meets coming up in the next few weeks. First one is the Texas Amateur Athletic Federation Games, so that's TAAF. And tell us about those games. When will they be and where?
Yeah, we have quite a few kids that are qualified to the TAAF Summer Games of Texas. It's going to be held this year at College Station, and it's at the end of this week, starts on Thursday and runs through Sunday. We have 47 athletes qualified.
47, that's quite a bit. And where in College Station? Is it on the A&M campus somewhere?
No, this year it's going to be back at the high school. Last year it was at the A&M, but I think it was only because the high school was under construction and they rented it out. It just cost a little too much for TAAF to do it there again.
Yeah, and these are big meets, right? How many people will go? Because you're saying you have a big group, and all these other towns and cities have teams. So how many are at each kind of meet like this?
Gosh, I didn't look up the number for this one, but it's a really big meet. So it represents all of Texas.
Right.
Traditionally, it's run by Parks and Recs, but it also has clubs in it. We do represent the city of Boerne at this meet, and I would say there's probably close to over 5,000 athletes in the track meet alone. And there's other sports too. So they have many different types of sports at the state games.
And how many Boerne kids did you say were going?
We qualified 47. Yeah, 47 athletes from our team.
And there's a few that have a really good chance of medaling, right? They're going to be top three, probably.
Yes, for sure. A couple of those could win. Yeah.
And then there's another meet coming up. That's the Junior Olympic Games, AAU, Amateur Athletic Union Junior Olympic Games, and that's in August.
Yeah, this starts this coming Saturday is the first day, and that one is in Des Moines, Iowa, and it's going to be held at Drake University. It's a beautiful campus, great place to have the Junior Olympics, and that one's the largest youth track meet in the world. They usually have somewhere around 14,000 athletes just competing at the track meet.
So when they have 14,000, there's coaches, there's parents, there's grandparents. How many people are in the stands, roughly?
We fill it up. It's probably close to 20 to 30,000 people attending, but it is spread out over 10 days. So not everybody's attending at the same time. Right.
Yeah, because it goes for a week, basically.
Correct.
And that's the one I think you said you're going to go to that one, right?
Right. We're heading out tomorrow morning, flying out there. I have 4 multi-athletes that are competing in the triathlon, heptathlon, and pentathlon starting Saturday.
And so I noticed there's a little bit of overlap between the TAAF games because they start July 31st and they go through August 2nd, and then the Junior Olympics is August 1st through 8th. So are there kids that are going to do both?
Absolutely. Traditionally, we have quite a few kids that will do both, especially our throwers. We've had a lot of throwers throughout the year that can go in, throw at TAAF, and then head over to Junior Olympics, and we have that this year too.
And I know you're one of the coaches, but you'll have a lot of coaches because there's so many different events. I know like some of you will specialize, let's say, in long jump or pole vault or whatever. So how many different coaches are involved with the track club?
Yeah, I would say that we're one of the few clubs in the area, if not the only club in the area that has every single event covered. So on our team, I think we have 20 covering Boerne. We also have coaches in Wimberley too. So we have 2 locations, and we have everything from the throws. We have several throws coaches, my husband, and then he has a couple of assistants. We have a long jump, triple jump coach, actually 2. We have a pole vault coach, which is kind of unheard of. He just comes out because he loves coaching summer track and works with our kids all summer. We have 2 to 3 hurdle coaches. We have several sprints coaches, several long distance coach, middle distance, and then I cover the multis, which is the combined events athletes.
So what would you say the staff is, the coaching staff, about 15? It's at least 10. I know it's double digits. I saw the photo of you guys. It's at least 10 to 15 right in that area.
No, I think total we have 20.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's quite a bit.
Yeah. We're very lucky. I'm always shocked that these coaches just keep coming back. They just love it every summer.
That is Jane Blomquist joining us here on the Boerne Brew. She's with the Hill Country Comets, and I'm the host of today's show. My name's Kerry Barboza, and you're listening to the Boerne Brew on Boerne Radio, 103.9 FM. And so we mentioned the AAU Junior Olympics and TAAF state games, but you also send athletes to Nike Nationals in Oregon, which I think happened in May or June. And then also there's the Under Armour meet somewhere. So you also send those kids to those games, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, track is really kind of exploding in the U.S., and so the championship meets too are exploding. There used to just be a couple, but now we have Nike, which happens in early June, and then we have Under Armour, which happened right before that. There's also a New Balance. Those are really big, huge championships that are becoming super popular. We've been going to them for about the last 6 years, and kids have to qualify based on standards. They have to meet the standards. They have divisions for middle school. They have divisions for emerge and elite, and then they also have elite division. And so this year we had a small group that went to Nike, but we also had the first year for Under Armour, we had 2 athletes that went out to that. We did not have anybody at New Balance this year.
Yeah, and Nike Nationals, that's in Oregon, and then where's the Under Armour meet held?
It's in Florida at the IMG Academy.
Okay, so...
And I think that one's going to be kind of a new up-and-coming. The dates for that work really well.
Yeah, and we were talking about Boerne Little League a couple weeks ago with Chris Carey, the president. One thing he mentioned is the cost to get these kids out there and the hotels and the food, and pretty much the parents have to eat the majority of that cost, don't they?
Yeah, that is something that our parents know that it's all on their own.
Yeah.
We used to do fundraising, but when you fundraise for, 10 to 15 kids, the number turns out to be a couple of $100s per person. And so our parents just know that that's something that they're going to take on.
So how many total kids are part of the Comets? I know there's some that probably miss some meets because they have other obligations. They play other sports, that sort of thing. And
our numbers this year, we were a little bit down. Seems like across the board, most of the track clubs were a little bit down, but we were right around 180 total. We've been upward in the 350s in the past for the summer, and that was actually a little too much. Like we were fighting for space on the track, but somewhere around 200 is what we usually hit.
Is that one of the bigger clubs in the state, or are there bigger ones?
There are bigger ones. When we were in the 300s, we were considered, I think, one of the biggest, but Austin has some really big clubs, and also San Antonio, but I'd say we're top 5 in the region of Texas. Houston and Dallas have huge numbers. I mean, track has just exploded. Summer track is crazy popular now. Yeah.
Y'all basically work out at the stadium, right? The Boerne ISD Stadium, for the most part. Do you work out other places like at Champion in their track, or?
This summer we haven't. We did a couple of practices over in Bandera this week just because we have football camps going on. But other than that, we've been able to be at the stadium all summer, which was great. In the past, we have spent some time at Champion just because of construction or whatever, but works out great to be over at the stadium.
How many meets y'all have, let's say, in the summer season? How many meets are there for the kids?
There's usually about 4 what we call preseason prep meets, and those are just regular meets that we go to. And then we have the district meet. If they move on, they go to the regional meet, which qualifies them for Junior Olympics. And then we have the TAAF regional meet, which qualifies them. So probably a minimum of 6, but honestly, there are track meets every single weekend. So some of our kids will do 10 track meets in the summer.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, especially in the summer. It's hot.
Yeah. And didn't Elizabeth Leachman, you mentioned, some of the big national meets, of course, she won her share. I didn't know if she was part of that at one time in the past.
No, she actually signed up in that summer that she was going to join us out of middle school. She had a injury and took the summer off. Okay. And then came back and ended up having a phenomenal freshman year and went on to train with a different club.
And there's some Boerne High athletes, Geneva, Brady Chandler is one of the guys. He's a pole vaulter. He's in a close to elite type pole vaulter. Yep. So you have some really good athletes that are part of this.
Yeah, like I said, we've had a lot of national champions, which when you go to a track meet that has 14,000 athletes, and you get a national champion or a national record, it's significant. Our own boys grew up in this club, which is why we started our club, and Ben was third at Nike Nationals and one of the top all-time Texas multi-athletes, decathletes out of Texas. We had Brock Lewis, who's a decathlete over at Texas right now. He grew up in our club. I currently have the number 1 seeded heptathlete. And going into the 17-18, she's ranked number 1 going in. So that's exciting. We have a lot of distance kids and a lot of throwers that should medal, if not win, this year.
So when does the youth track season start? It's basically in the spring through part of the summer, right, basically? When do y'all start workouts?
We usually start right at the beginning of April. The week starting after Easter weekend is when we start.
Okay.
So we train for about 4 weeks, and then we start having track meets every weekend.
And what do you do? Because I know there's kids at that time in April that are probably still playing Little League or they're, playing whatever sport that's out there. There's spring football now.
Yeah, it's a lot.
There's YMCA basketball. I mean, so do you encourage kids to do other sports? Do y'all prefer that or?
I mean, we take anybody and we always say it's kind of what you put in is what you're going to get out. So if, you're going to see the kids that miss half the season because of other sports probably not perform as well. The kids who are there from the beginning on tend to perform better. That doesn't mean, we don't have kids that do multi-sports.
Right. But y'all encourage that, right? If they want to have other interests at that young age, just do those things, right? And then maybe you'll pick one that you have a passion for. Maybe?
Absolutely. Yeah. We don't punish or count attendance. We always say, kids come when you can. And really our goal is just to introduce them to the sport and see if they like it and grow the love of track and field is what we say. That's our mission.
So the other day I was talking to you and we were trying to set up the interview and I had asked you on the phone, I think at one point this was called the Boerne Striders, wasn't it?
No, not really. When we started in 2014, we founded it with the Hill Country Comets and then the City League, the TAAF city team was the Boerne Bullets, Boerne Striders. And when we kind of merged into a different group, we approached the city. Well, they approached us and said, do you want to take this over? So that was kind of their team that was dissolved and we took over the city program.
Because I remember they would send in results from back in the day, the Striders. So I just didn't know if y'all changed names or how that worked. But so y'all are still tied in with the city. Right.
We compete for the city. So at TAAF, our name is not Hill Country Comets. We're the city of Boerne. Although we wear the Comet uniform and our kids know that we're the Comets, we compete under the city of Boerne. So all the results come through as Boerne City Parks and Rec. And the city of Boerne has had a lot of awards based on our performances. Yeah. We've had 2, I didn't mention this earlier, but we actually had 2 TAAF Athlete of the Year, which is out of all sports.
Who were they?
Yeah, it was our son Noah.
All right.
When he was 10, he won. He broke a pretty long-standing state record in 2018. And then he was awarded the State Athlete of the Year. And then Bethany Preuss is a thrower, and she got it in 2022. And it's not just for track and field. So for Boerne to have 2 State Athletes of the Year is pretty impressive.
So Hill Country Comets, it implies there's more than just Boerne. And I know you get kids from Comfort, right? You kind of open it up more or less. I
mean, we have kids that come all the way down from the valley and train from us. Yeah. We currently have a thrower that drives 2.5 hours 3 times a week to train. And
wow.
My husband.
Where are they from?
It's Brackettville. So she drives, it's crazy to me.
Wow. You would think there'd be something a little closer, but no. Whatever.
My girl that's in the heptathlon, she actually moved down here this summer from Oklahoma to train with me. Her parents moved her down and got an Airbnb for the summer, and they had nothing around that area for her. And
that's surprising.
Yeah. So she spent the whole summer down here. She's back in Oklahoma and headed up to Des Moines, and hopefully we'll get a national champion. So
now wasn't there, and this may be the girl from Oklahoma, but she was here visiting grandparents or something, and so since she was here this summer, she decided, or last summer, to just be a part of the club and did real well.
Yeah, her name's Campbell Garavino, and her mom and I were nurses together when my son Noah and her were young, and so we've just kind of kept in touch, social media, things like that. And last summer she reached out to me and she said, my daughter's kind of good in track, and you can imagine I hear that all the time, right? My kid's the fastest one in their class.
Yeah, listen, as a sports editor, I hear from a lot of parents think their son or their daughter's the next Michael Jordan, Babe Ruth, whatever. So
I looked her up and I was like, oh, wow, she is really good. And she came down a few times last summer. She ended up, multiple state champion in Oklahoma in all of her events. And so we talked and she said, all right, we're coming down this summer. And I was like, really? They have some family here. And so ended up, like I said, getting Airbnbs all summer long. And we talked about whether or not she was going to do hurdles, or I said, let's move into the multis. And it was a little bit of a scary thing, but my gosh, she's really special. Probably one of the most talented athletes I've ever coached.
So any chance she'd move down here and go to Boerne schools, or she's staying up there?
Yeah, she's an upcoming senior, so she's going to finish up her senior year there. And
Before, you mentioned scholarships, so tell us about the scholarships that's involved with the program.
Yeah, so not only do we give out lots and lots of just scholarships for tuition, right? Every year we give out probably close to 20 to kids because we never want to turn anyone away. But we started back in probably closer to 2018. I remember our first athlete, but we just give money to the kids that are graduating, and we try to raise money for that by donations, but also our club gives back anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 just out of our pockets. And we have our graduating athlete supply and really haven't ever turned anyone away. So it's anywhere from $1,000 is the least we've given to $2,000 per athlete, and we just write a check to them and help them with their college expenses. Super proud of that.
Yeah, and you have a total, don't you? How much over the years? Do you have any idea how much it's been?
Yeah, this year we went up to $26,300. We gave out 6 $1,000 scholarships this summer. So we had a lot of graduating athletes, but yeah, the total is $26,300.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
great.
really, really proud of that.
For the kids, that really helps them. That is Jane Blomquist joining us here on the Boerne Brew. She's with the Hill Country Comets. And so during our conversation today, you've mentioned your children. I know they're big track and field athletes because your husband's from Norway? Sweden, sorry. ABBA. I should think ABBA.
It's close.
Yeah. So I know he has a background in track and field, and he's a coach as well. But all your children have been involved in track and field, basically, right?
Yeah, I mean, we did other sports. It was just kind of gravitated to track because that's what we did. And they were, carrying him along. He did track up into his 40s. My husband competed for the Swedish national team. And so they were just always there. And then we started out just doing little AAU meets unattached. And eventually they said, we want to be on a team, Mom. So there was no team.
And how many children?
We just have 2 boys.
Okay. Ben and Noah, right? Mm-hmm. And one of them's going to go to Sweden, right, to go to school?
Yep. So we're moving him on August 22nd to Sweden. They both have dual citizenship. And Ben was a college athlete here, has since retired. He's just a regular student is what he says.
Right.
And then Noah has graduated from Boerne High School. And we looked at a couple of different avenues, and he was just given this incredible opportunity to go and compete in Sweden under the Dala Sports Academy. They don't really have college sports like they do here, but there is an academy that trains kind of some of the best athletes in each sport, and Noah met the standard. He's still ranked as one of the top athletes for his age division in Sweden. He had some injuries this year and didn't compete well as a senior, but like I said, he is still ranked in the top of his age division and was accepted into this academy that's honestly crazy opportunity. World-class athletes he'll be training alongside.
So is it like a 4-year university, basically? What's he going to study?
Just kind of general studies right now. He thinks
until he figures it out.
Yeah. We've got him signed up for Swedish as a second language and some business basic things, just some basic classes right now.
Are your sons fluent in whatever the language is there?
They are not.
Swedish? Is that what it's called? Swedish?
Yeah, Swedish, yeah. Yeah, they are not Swedish fluent. And so that's one of the first things. But it's an international school, Dala International University. And so they speak English in all of the classes.
Okay, so
or the classes that he's enrolled in are all English speaking.
Right.
Yeah.
So your husband, does he still speak the language, your husband?
Yeah.
Do you?
A little bit.
Yeah.
No, I'm not fluent, but I do speak some Swedish. And funny story this morning, Stefan was on the phone with the dean of admissions. We're just still trying to figure out a few last minute things. And they were speaking Swedish, and actually they were speaking English to begin with. And my husband started speaking Swedish because, he was like, I didn't know if he knew that I'm from Sweden. And so the guy started speaking Swedish, and it was terrible. And he was like, where's this guy from? He was like, well, we can switch back to English, because he could tell it was like such broken. And he's at the end of the conversation, he said, where are you from? He's like, oh, I'm from Delaware.
Oh, really?
So he's
living out there.
Oh, interesting.
So you ever lived in Sweden?
No, we haven't. We visited a lot. And at one point we had the decision when I was pregnant with our first son that we were going to move over there. And that summer we went. We always go there every summer back in the day, and it's always perfect weather and everybody's on vacation. But that summer it was cold and rainy. And so after 6 weeks of terrible weather, I said, I cannot do this. I'm born and bred Texas girl. My husband said, yeah, if we don't get a good summer, we have to wait another year before we get good weather. It's terrible weather the rest of the year.
How did you and your husband meet? Because since he's from Sweden and then you're from Texas, how did that happen?
We met in track. I was a track athlete and he was a track athlete. He came over to do track and I was on the track team, and that's where we met.
Where at? What school?
Angelo State.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And then you've convinced him to stay in Texas ever since, right? Basically.
Yeah, he likes the warm weather. He said he never wanted to live in Sweden. He grew up as a really kind of an elite national athlete, right. And they did training camps all over the world. So anytime they could get away and go to Spain or Italy or, Canary, somewhere to go train in warm weather, he was like early on, starting at age 12, he was like, I knew I wanted to leave Sweden and go somewhere warm. So he said he came to Texas and he was like, this is perfect.
Then he still have family there, though?
Yeah.
So.
His parents both passed away, but his brother lives there with 2 children, and he has lots of cousins that live there.
Okay, so it's worth making an occasional trip to visit, right? You just keep up with everybody?
Yeah.
Well, that is Jane Blomquist joining us here on the Boerne Brew. We're about running out of time, just a few more minutes left, so I want to thank you for your time. So why do the coaches, and you're one of them, why do y'all do it? Why do you give up your time? What does it mean to you to give your time and invest in these athletes on the track?
I think we have a really unique way that we run our program that's been super successful. We bring on a lot of coaches that have kids that are in the program, and they're already in the program, and then we seek out parents who have done track in college. I think almost everybody who's coaches has been a track athlete, and they come because their kids are there, and then they just fall in love with the whole coaching culture. We have a really close-knit group of coaches. We're all good friends, like each other, want to hang out, and then they get to grow up seeing their kids. Some of them still keep coming back even after their kids, like us, are graduated from the program, and we have a lot of kids that come back from college that have competed in college and want to be back involved. In fact, it's becoming harder and harder because they keep coming back and they want to coach and get paid. And I have to turn some of them away because we have too many coaches. Wow. But yeah, they just keep asking to come back.
So when you go to a meet and a kid wins a medal, obviously that makes you proud as a coach. But not every kid wins a medal, but it doesn't have to be a medal to make you proud. But what makes you most proud when you go to a meet?
We're really big about preaching how to represent our club, and so if our kids go out there with great attitudes and good sportsmanship, that makes me proud. Learning how to compete and just improving each meet is a big deal.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Jane, we want to thank you for your time. I know you got a busy schedule coming up, a couple of big meets. I think you said you're going to go take your son later to Sweden and you're going to do some vacation stuff. And so you're going somewhere kind of far too, aren't you, for vacation? Egypt.
Yeah, I'm heading over to Egypt.
Wow.
In August.
Man, and then you're going to go to Sweden at some point. When does your son leave?
So I'll take him August, and then from August I'll be in Sweden, and then I'll head over to Egypt for some family vacation time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're going to be real busy, so thank you for taking the time to visit the show and talk about Hill Country Comets and let the community know what's going on with those guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yep. All right. Thank you, Jane, and thank you out there for listening to the Boerne Brew. We'll talk to you next time.